Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to the episode 44 of my knitting podcast where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 8th of February 2025 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko, but not this time. Again, I am still cat sitting and house sitting, so currently I am living with 3 cats, which are somewhere. And yeah, so I am leaving this place tomorrow. The couple living here is coming back from holiday tomorrow, so I am going home by the end of tomorrow. So I figured it would be nice to take advantage of this beautiful backdrop one more time and film a podcast episode. I don't have as much to show as usual, which I think is a good thing because the latest episode last time was a little bit shorter and it was a delight to film and to edit, and I think I just prefer this kind of length, so I hope this time it's gonna be the same length. We shall see. So what I have to talk about today, I have 2 finished objects and a test call. I have 2 works in progress, one of which is a new cast-on that I'm very excited about. And I have some acquisitions. I didn't buy them recently, but it was a pre-order and I received them. And that's it. So let's get right into things with what I am wearing, which is my finished object, which is also the test call. This guy is everything. This is my Melon Sweater. It's a design of mine and I just finished my sample, so this is the first one I knit. And it's a collab with Explore Knits and Fibers, and I'm so excited. So this is a contiguous shoulder construction, top-down sweater. And I'm just gonna go through a breakdown of the specs of the design because the test call is up, so if you're watching this for the first time or if you just want a refresh of everything, since I started this guy quite a long time ago, I think it was a month and a half. Yeah. I'm just gonna do a quick recap of everything. So it's fingering weight sweater, so you use 2 colors. I used the earthy sock base from Explore Knits, which is a gorgeous, beautiful, delightful, squishy, everything non-superwash merino base, and this is what I have left. This is the colorway In Bloom, so it's the contrast color, the one you can see peeking through here and here. And the main color is Butterfly Pea Flower, but I don't have anything left. I used everything. I have maybe the tiniest little nugget here, and that's all. So that's for the yarn. As I mentioned, it's a fingering weight, not superwash, and it gives a very beautiful squishy fabric, even though it's fingering weight, because this is an all-over slip stitch texture, which means the fabric is very squished together. It's quite dense. And I think it's really lovely for a sweater. It's pretty warm, the fabric is pretty dense, but I find it's very, thanks to the very elastic and squishy nature of the yarn, it still makes a very nice fabric. I don't feel constricted in any way, and the arms are fitted, but I mean, the feeling is just absolutely amazing. I just feel so good in this. It's so soft, and I'm super sensitive to wool, like next level, and this is really next to skin stuff. There is only one place where I can feel it. It's the seaming of the neckline, because it's a tiny bit tighter here because of the bind off and the seaming, and I can sometimes feel just here, but it's not itching or anything, it's just that I can feel there is something. And yeah, other than that, the yarn is super soft, and I'm just so glad I chose this for this garment. However, you can choose whatever fingering weight yarn you have or you want. Thanks to the very structured nature of the fabric, the slip stitches is very, like, it has a lot of integrity, and you can use a superwash yarn, you can probably use a cotton or linen blend, and the fabric is just gonna stay there thanks to the slip stitches, so you can use whatever. I'm not a yarn snob or anything, you can use the cheapest acrylic yarn if you want. I think it's gonna work. I haven't tried though, but I think it's gonna work. I'm just gonna go through my list so that I don't forget anything. So it's all over texture, and I have the ICO detailing running down the shoulder here, and it separates on each side of the sleeve here, and it emphasizes this beautiful seam here. And it also goes all the way through the sleeve, it ends at the cuff, and you also have it at the underarm here. So this is very helpful to do the shaping of the sleeve, because it's easier to do decreases next to an I-cord than in this texture. And you also have it here on the body. And I put this here also because if you want to add body shaping, it's not in the pattern, but if you want to add some, it's so much easier to do. And also it helps with the beginning of round, so that you don't have a weird line of offset slip stitches at the beginning of round only on one side. So that's why it's also here, and also because it looks nice. All the edges, so the neckline, the cuff, and the hem, can you see that? I'm gonna explain later, are folded over stockinette. So you knit stockinette in the round, and then you fold it to the outside, and this is, you can see the bind-off chain here, which makes a very beautiful transition between the texture and the stockinette. And you also have it here. I love it! There is a cat watching me. I'm not sure if he's gonna come here, but... looks like he is. The ease, the suggested ease is -4 to +4 centimeters, or I think that's 1.5 inches of ease, either negative or positive. Basically, it's supposed to be fitted. It's supposed to have zero ease, but like, kind of. You don't need to be exactly at 0. Mine is, I think I have 3.5 centimeters of positive ease. That's because I added an optional modification, and it made it a little bit larger, but yeah. This is size 2. My measurements are down below if you're interested, but yeah, that's how it's supposed to fit. So pretty close, but again, thanks to the very gorgeous yarn I chose, the fabric is very, very nice next to skin and with a fitted shape like this. I used the chest measurement rather than the full bust for this design because it's supposed to have a very specific fit around the shoulders, because you want this line to follow the shoulder line exactly, and the full bust is absolutely not reliable as a measurement to give the shoulder size of a person, because you can be very busty and have a small frame, or you can have a very big frame and be very flat at the bust. So full bust is useless for this kind of measurement. So if you want to have a good fit around the shoulders, you need to use your chest or upper bust, which you measure right at your armpits here. So for example, my upper bust is 5 centimeters bigger than my full bust, which means if I had selected the size based on my full bust, it would be too small. I would have chosen size 1 and it would be too small. So yeah, chest and not full bust. Now, the modifications I mentioned, there is an optional German short wool modification you can add here. So you can see here, I have the stripes here that go straight, and then the top stripes here, the 4 top stripes are cut. That's because I have started short wools here and I have made this curve here, which means that the back seam is longer than the front seam. That's what the modifications do, which means that my back is larger than my front in this garment. So this is a certain width, but thanks to the short wools I added, the back is larger. And I did that because some people, including me, have a wider cross back. So you measure the cross front here at the tip of your shoulders, and you measure the cross back at the same point but on the back. And if your cross back is wider than your cross front, which basically means that you're a little bit hunched like this, which is my case, when you wear a sweater that's the same size on the front and on the back, you get a lot of this on the front, and the fabric on the back is completely overstretched and the fit is not good around the arms. Usually the underarms comes up because it's pulled by the back, and then everything is not fitting great. So if you are like me, or if you're a man, because in standard charts for man the crossback is wider than the front, you can use this modification. So it added width to the back, it adds 5 centimeters to the back, and it also raises the back neck by 1.5 centimeters, which is almost nothing. But I do have a higher trapezius here, so for me it's also useful. Usually, if your back is bigger, I mean wider, you also have higher trapezius, so it goes hand in hand. But if you don't need a wider back, you don't need the extra height. Neither. Okay, that's for the modification. And now for the unique modifications of my own sample. I have the sleeves that are slightly shorter. They are supposed to come a little bit over the hand. I wish they were, but I also have the body cropped. It's supposed to be, I'm wearing sweatpants again, my belly button is here, and it's supposed to be like this, a little bit longer. But I ran out of yarn because when I bought the yarn, it was, I don't know, maybe in April, I don't know. It was the farmer's market pre-order from Explorer Knits. It was such a long time ago. And I hadn't graded the design yet, and I had no idea about the yarn usage, so I just bought 2 skeins of main color, 2 skeins of contrast colors, and I thought it would be enough. It's not. I needed 2 and a little bit skeins of main color, which is also why I have this band here of contrast color on the inside of my folded over hem, because I ran out and I had to undo the hem, do the inside with the contrast color, and then finish with the main color so that I could have enough length to do the folding. And yeah, so it's a little bit short, it's a little bit cropped, but for me it's fine because I love cropped stuff. I wear a lot of super high-waisted bottoms that go up to here, so this is exactly the perfect length for me. However, I know most people don't wear stuff this cropped, so the cat joined us. You sure you want to be next to me when I talk this loud? Okay, I guess you won't. So cute. What was I saying? Yes, most people would probably want something longer, so I graded it longer. That way the yarn estimates are for a longer length. And if you want to crop it, you can just get 2 skeins instead of 3 for size 2, for example. Anyway. And I also have one modification I want to mention. This neckline is not the one in the final pattern. I have modified it because it goes a little bit too in, like this, and the final shape is more rounded. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's like a little bit triangular. This looks a little bit straight, and then you have another straight edge here, and in the final shape it's more round. So just to know, this is not the final shape. But it fits great. It doesn't touch my throat, barely. It's just a perfect high neck for me. I think I absolutely hate when a neckline touches the throat, but here it's fine. Even if I move around, it doesn't ride up, it just stays here. One more thing, my arms are a little bit more fitted than in the pattern because my gauge got tighter in the arms. When I was knitting, I felt like it was looser, but apparently it was not. So my arms are slightly smaller than they should be. The gauge, of course, is perfect on the body because I measured and then graded using my gauge on the body. But yeah, it just got a little bit tighter in the arms. And my arms are a little bit bigger than the standard for my chest. So 2 things make that the arms are a slightly bit more fitted than they should. So if you knit this pattern and you are closer to the standard sizes, you're gonna have a little bit more room than me. This is just 0 ease, so you're just gonna have like 2-3 centimeters of ease, 1 inch. But I have included indications in the pattern if you want to alter the bicep circumference and the body circumference, like the number of stitches you have. You cannot go all the way to like 2 more sizes with just the modifications here, but you can play around a little bit with the dimensions. So if you think it's a little bit too small or a little bit too big, you can modify it with the pattern. And you can also change the armhole depth. There is, again, indications on how to do that. Because if your row gauge is not the same as mine, well, this is not gonna work. Because you're supposed to work a certain amount of rows to get this to work. But you can modify it slightly. Again, you cannot do a huge modification, but you can tweak it a little bit. I think that's it. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. If you want to apply for the test, the application form is up. I have put the link below in the description. It's also available on my Instagram if you click the link in my bio. And it will be open until next Wednesday, which is the 12th. 12th? The 12th of February. And I wanted to mention, I just saw that Ali from Explorer Knits, she posted that there are gonna be an in-stock update of Explorer Knits on the 16th of February. So if you are selected to testnet this, you will know before the update if you're selected or not. And since it's an in-stock update, you can buy your yarn and receive it immediately, and you can use the suggested yarn for this design. Just saying. You can also use whatever you want, but yeah, I just thought it was perfect timing. And if you are not selected, note that when the pattern comes out in May, it will be mid-May, end of May, I think end of May, Explorer Knits is gonna have kits available to pre-order when the pattern launches, which is super excited. You're gonna have two color, how do you say that? Two color stories, two pairings, two possibilities of colors to choose from, I don't know. You're gonna have this one, so that's Butterfly Pea Flower in Bloom again. And I have a little swatch if you want to swap the colors. So here the main color is In Bloom and the contrast color is Butterfly Pea Flower. And you can see when you have the variegated lighter color on top, it's just amazing. It's gorgeous. And Explorer Knits has so many beautiful light pastel-y variegated colors like this. I have so many ideas. So yeah, this is gonna be the first color. There is a word to say that when you have two. It's gonna be the first kit. And the second one, the colorways are gonna be Muckross and Earth. So Muckross is gonna be the main color, so the one on top, the lighter, and Earth is gonna be the contrast color. And it's gonna be a beautiful low contrast version. And I'm so excited because the first swatch ever I did for this, oops, sorry, I'm scaring the cat, is a low contrast version. So this is a lilac and an apricot colorway. This is the old shoulder version, by the way, it was just stockinette. And you can see from afar, you cannot really tell that it's orange and purple, but from close-up, from up close, you can see the colors and it's like incredible. It's so beautiful. I just love this so much. So yeah, you can go wild with the colors and I'm just so excited. So the second version, the second kit, I'm gonna receive the yarn. This yarn was not sponsored, by the way, I bought this myself, but I'm gonna receive the yarn from Explorer Knits for the second sample, which is gonna be the short sleeve version. That's what I forgot to mention. There is a short sleeve version in the pattern. And yeah, I'm gonna knit the second version in this second kit, which are colors that Ali chose. And it was funny because the first time we discussed about the colors, she suggested visualization, and I forgot the name of the second one, but it was this pairing. And I was like, beautiful. Can you imagine visualization as the main color? It like, I was so excited. But since we were gonna have kits, this is already in the purple story. It's like blue purple, and the other color pairing was also in the blue purple. And I was like, its colors I absolutely love for sure, since it's the one I chose. But I think if people want kits, it's better to have like one cool toned, high contrast version and one warm toned, low contrast version. So that's why we decided to go for Muckross and Earth, which is super warm, super low contrast, beautiful, subtle. Wow, I just can't wait. And it's funny because it's absolutely not something I would have chosen, so I'm glad Ali was there to suggest it, because never in my life would I have chosen that. I don't really like warm tones, but this is beautiful. I'm just so excited to have something in these colors in my wardrobe, because I know I will wear it. I know it. I can feel it. But I wouldn't have selected it myself, so yeah, I'm just super excited about that. And the last swatch I wanted to show you, this is absolutely not going to be available in the pre-order when the pattern launches, but I have made a little swatch. I had to do this to film tutorials, so I used a super big yarn. I wanted to film a tutorial for how to join in the round, because you have a little trick at the underarms. You have an I-cord running down, because I wanted to continue the I-cord of the sleeve to do the whole round. So it's just a little bit more complicated than what you're used to. It's not difficult, but there's just a little bit more steps. So I filmed a tutorial, and I used beige main color with a golden contrast color, and it's beautiful. I cannot get over it. It's like so gorgeous. I mean, of course, using a neutral as a main color and then a pop of color is amazing, but I don't really like neutrals, so I don't tend to even consider them as possibilities, but of course it's amazing. So yeah, that's definitely an idea, using a neutral and then the pop of color is incredible. I recommend. Okay, so I think that's it. If you want the specs, so the size range runs from I don't know, it's gonna be up here. It's a size inclusive design, it has 9 sizes, and I am considering adding optional bust darts, since this is supposed to be fitted. If you have a bigger bust, you will probably need bust darts. However, I have never done that because I don't need them, and I am good at designing stuff that I need. For example, widening the back or making a higher back neck or stuff like that, but I don't need bust darts, so I don't know how to do them. And I don't even know if you can do them in this slip stitch texture, so I have to swatch to try. So I'm not saying anything regarding that, but I will try to see if it can work, and if it can, I will add them to the pattern, but for now they are not there. But I hope it's possible, because it would be really, really beneficial to have them in this type of fit. Okay, it's not gonna be a shorter episode, but if you want to apply to test it, did I even say the name of the design? It's called the Melon Sweater. And I called it like that because the texture makes me think of melon skin, kind of. Okay, I think I haven't forgotten anything, so we can move on to the next thing, which is another finished object. I don't want to wake the cat up. Sorry. So I have finished the headband I have been doing for my friend Anna. She asked me to do a headband for her, and I had hoped I could give it to her earlier, but it wasn't ready, so here it is. I still have it. This is the Cozy Evening Headband by Celeste Knitwear. It's a free pattern on her website. She has a ton of beautiful headband and hat patterns on her website, so if you want inspiration or if you just want to knit something for free, you can go there. And I have modified it a little bit. No, first the yarn. The yarn I used is Hedgehog Fibers. It's a DK weight merino yarn superwash without nylon, just merino. And it's the colorway Ozone. I have used almost everything. I think I have like 20 grams left, and I have modified the headband so that it's a tube, so I have stockinette on one side and the motif on the other side, so I knit it in the round instead of knitting it flat, which was slightly annoying because it's much easier to do lace flat than in the round, because if you knit flat you just knit, purl on the wrong side, and you do the lace and cables on the right side and you don't have to think. But if you knit in the round, you have to remember that every other row you just knit, and that's a little bit more difficult to remember. So I usually prefer to knit cables and lace flat, but anyway, I still managed to do it. So you have this lace running down the middle, and then I just modified the cables on the side. It's supposed to be squiggly cables like that, but they were too thin, so I just modified them for something a little bit wider. And it's gonna be too big for me because she has a bigger head, so it's a bit floppy, but for her it's gonna be perfect. And it fits like that. I don't really like those kind of knots on headbands because for some reason they never lay in a nice way, so I don't really know what I should do. Maybe I should sew the corner here that it stays, but then this is never straight, it always like is crooked, and it looks, I don't know, it always looks great on other people. Maybe I didn't sew it correctly, I don't know. I'm not convinced I did the best job here, and it's too big. But yeah, if you have any advice for that, I will take it, because I don't know how to make this look nicer than that. But yeah, that's what she wanted, so I did that. And yeah, I don't have much more to add. I used 3.75mm needles, so a little bit smaller than the suggested. And it's very warm, it's very nice, it's a headband. Okay, my first work in progress is also a design of mine. It's the Roadtrip Shacket, and I have finished the yoke. I have just joined, not in the round, but I have joined at the underarms. Barely, I have like... Oh, wait! I saw a podcast the other day, I think it was... I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry. But she used a hanger to show her work in progress, and I was like, that's genius. Why have I never thought about that? So I took a hanger so that I can show you. And it's just joined at the underarms here. I have like 4 rows. And yeah, the Roadtrip Shacket is a shacket style. So shacket stands for shirt jacket. So shirt like a shirt, a buttoned up shirt with a shirt collar thing, and the rounded hem at the bottom, and the pockets, a shirt. And jacket is a outer layer. So shirt jacket is a outer layer that has the shape of a shirt. And it has texture here at the top, and then the rest of the body and the sleeves are stockinette. And I am knitting this one in Candide by Durham Natura held double in the colorway Nougat, and I love it. It's the only neutral colored knit I have ever done. Aside from one white sweater and one black sweater, that's all. Everything else is color. So I'm extremely excited to finally have something that will pair well with all the colorful stuff I have. Yeah, and it's just... I'm just progressing slowly but surely. This is taking a little bit longer because you have the texture and the cables and the slip stitches and all of that, and you have the shaping at the shoulders that's taking a while, but now it's gonna be smooth sailing for 6 kilometers until I reach the bottom. I can actually show you the first version of the shacket. This one is knit in Nutiden, which is the suggested yarn, and yeah, you can see the shirt collar, the pockets, and it has the sleeves with this kind of detail, and the rounded hem at the bottom. Can you even see that? Yeah. So this version is a winter version, a warm and cuddly and snuggly version, and this is going to be the summer version because Candide is a mix between cotton and wool, and it's woolen spun, so it's very like squishy and airy. It has a lot of air in it, so it's very lightweight, and it's going to be very breathable for summer. And I'm going to do a short sleeve version, and I'm super excited about it. I can show you a picture of the first one before I finish the sleeve so that you can see the vision of the short sleeves. It's going to be so cool. I'm super excited. And I need to finish this fast because the end of the test is at the beginning of March. We are at the beginning of February, so I have 1 month. However, I want to take pictures with my photographer, and if I want to let her enough time to edit the pictures, basically I need to finish this at the end of next week. So I need to push through a little bit faster than I am. But I was kind of speed knitting on this guy so that I could finish it and finish the yarn estimates so that I could send out the test call. But now that this is done, this is my main focus, and it's gonna be pretty fast, I think. Especially since I'm over with the complicated stuff. I just wanted to mention there are 2 versions for the seaming of the shoulders here. So the first version, you have the seam line that's... both fabrics are curved to the inside, so you just have a seam line that looks like this. And the second version is... so this is mattress stitch, and this is a variation of mattress stitch where you have an exposed seam, so you have a chain that runs down. It's a little bit difficult to see, but yeah, you have this detail here that I really love, and it's a little bit more awkward to do, it's a little bit more difficult, especially since you are doing staggered bind off so that you have a nice clean diagonal line instead of steps. So it just makes this particular technique a little bit more difficult, but I think it looks really gorgeous. So yeah, if you're hesitating between those 2 kinds of seaming, this is what the other one looks like. I am following the pattern exactly. I did only one modification, which I also did for the first version. It's again because my back is wider, larger, everything. I have added 1 pattern repeat to the back. That means that the seam is supposed to be sitting on the front of the shoulder. It's not exactly at the top, it's slightly to the front, so it's supposed to sit like this, so you can see the seam here. And if I hang it like that, the front texture ends here and the back texture ends down here, so there is a little bit of a height difference. That's because my back is wider again. And when I wear this, they are completely aligned. So it's great for me, but I don't recommend doing that if you don't have a wider back. But if you're a man, this is a unisex fit, by the way. It also uses the chest rather than the full bust, because again, the shoulder fit is very important, and since this is unisex, it's better to use the chest. So if you're a man, you can just knit also this. Add one more repeat to the back, so that the fit is a little bit better. One last thing I wanted to mention regarding the test. For some reason, I don't blame anyone, life happens, it's okay. All the testers of the larger sizes have dropped out. So I don't have anyone to test sizes 7, 8 and 9. There are 9 sizes, so yeah, that's a problem. I mean, not really, because I can still release the pattern and just say in the pattern page that those sizes have not been tested, and if you want to knit them, I can send you the pattern for free in exchange for your feedback, and that's going to be a later test. But I would like to have them tested before. I'm not expecting anyone to finish the garment in 1 month, of course, but if you want, you can start before the release. So if you are interested in testing sizes 7, 8 or 9, please contact me. My email is in the description below. I will put the sizes, the chest sizes below as well, so that you can see. And please do not contact me if you are below the size and you just want something oversized, more oversized on you, because I want to know if the way I have graded for a particular chest size is correct. So if you are smaller and you just want something more oversized, I'm not gonna see if someone with the correct chest size is gonna fit in what I have graded. So I need people that have the actual chest size listed. So if you are, or if you know someone that could be interested, please send them this or contact me so that you can test this pattern before it comes out. Of course, the deadline is going to be extended. The tester originally had 12 weeks, I think, so we can start with 12 weeks or more if you want, since it's a bigger size. I'm okay with having a longer deadline. I think that's it. Okay, so next up, my next work in progress is a new cast on. I'm super excited about this one because I've been wanting to cast this guy on since the pattern came out, and I think it's been 2 years. So I am finally doing it and I'm just so happy. Can you guess what this is? This is a camisole number 9 by my favorite things knitwear. It's gonna go like this. Yes, I am using this is again Earthy Sock by Explore Knits. It's the same base as my Melon Sweater. I just love it. I just really love it. And since it is next to Skin Soft and a non-spore wash yarn, which is very, very rare for me, I know only 2 bases of 100% wool that are non-spore wash and that I can wear with something like negative or close fitting. If it's positive it's a little bit easier, but for something negative like a camisole or something close fitting like this, it's very, very difficult for me to find something. So yeah, now that I know this is okay, I'm gonna knit all my garments, my close fitting camisole in this. So this is the very beginning. So I have finished the straps, which are gonna go like this until the back, and this is the this is supposed to go to the underarm, and as you can tell, it's not. It's absolutely not. And the reason for that is that my row gauge is way too short, way too small. The stitch gauge is correct. So the recommended gauge is 30 stitches per 38 rows by 10 by 10, 4 by 4. And my gauge is 30 stitches by 48 rows. No, 46. Wait, I have a little paper. Yeah, 48 rows instead of 38. So I have 10 rows too much, too many per 10 centimeters, which is massive. So it's way too short. So what I will do, I haven't cut the yarn yet, so I have done some calculations and I need to add 12 rows from the front neck cast on here to the bottom of the armhole shaping here. So I need to add 12 rows, and so I'm going to unravel until the cast on here, and then I will add 12 rows throughout and do the shaping just the same. And then those straps are also too short, but I don't want to start them over. So what I will do, you're supposed to pick up stitches here and then knit the back anyway, so I will just pick up stitches, knit for longer straight, and then start the back. That's gonna do exactly the same. The only problem is that means that the front neckline shaping, so this little curve here, is a little bit too short, but that's negligible because that's very short, that's very small. It's just this. So the difference is like, it's supposed to be this. I don't care. So we're gonna be fine. I did my math and yeah, so I just need to start this over, but it's fine. It was pretty fast to do. And the reason my gauge is too small is because I'm absolutely not using the recommended yarn, of course. You're supposed to use Knitting for Olive, merino, cotton merino, or pure silk. I have no idea how you're supposed to reach the same gauge with those 3 fibers, but and you're supposed to use 3mm needles. But cotton for merino, Knitting for Olive, cotton merino, or merino. I just mashed the 3 of them together. Those yarns are 250 meters per 50 grams, which is 500 meters per 100 grams, and this is 400 meters per 100 grams, so it's thicker. So I went down to 2.5 millimeter, which is sock needles basically. And the stitch gauge is correct with that, but I know, since I know my gauge is probably going to be too big, I tend to knit very tight, and when I knit tight, the stitch gauge cannot be really smaller than that because of the size of the needle. However, the row gauge can shorten a lot if you knit tight. And that's what's happening. So yeah, that's why I'm having those troubles. And I just wanted to mention something that I hear all the time, and it really irritates me every time. I always hear people saying, like for example, when you knit this, it's supposed to be knit on 3mm needles, and people are like, I need to go down to 2.5mm to hit gauge, but then it's gonna take too much time to knit. And I'm like, no. The gauge is supposed to be 30 stitches per 38 rows, and if you go down to even 1.5mm needles and you hit gauge, you're still gonna need the same number of stitches. It's not gonna take longer. It's gonna take less time if your gauge is bigger. If you keep the 3mm and your gauge is bigger, of course you're gonna knit less stitches per measurement of surface. So of course it's gonna go faster, but even if you go down 600 size needle and you hit gauge, it's gonna be the same. There is no difference. It's not gonna be slower or anything just because you use smaller needles. So I'm using sock needles, but my gauge, aside from the fact that my row gauge is too short, my stitch gauge is the same, so it doesn't make any difference that my needles are smaller. Yeah, just a thought. It's just in your head, guys. If you are using smaller needles but still hit gauge, it doesn't make a difference. However, I think I'm gonna go down to 2.25 when I join it around and knit it around, because I know I knit tighter when I knit flats because my purls are tight, especially when I'm doing shaping, which is the case I'm doing increases. And I know when I start to knit it around and I don't have all of that happening, I'm gonna knit looser. So I need to go down one more needle size to hit the same gauge, so it's gonna be the same speed to knit. Okay, that's my camisole number 9, and I'm just so excited. It's gonna be the perfect layering piece, and I'm gonna wear it under everything. Maybe not because it's bright red. I don't think I have a lot of garments that can go with this bright red, but that's a problem for future Maya. At least I'm gonna have this. That's gonna go well with it. I just wanted to mention something regarding the camisole. It's that the pattern is not size inclusive. Of course, it's my favorite things knitwear, and she is never size inclusive. But I mentioned already, sometimes I reserve myself the right, because I do what I want, to knit patterns that are not size inclusive because, as I mentioned, my own measurements are off the charts and I always need to modify patterns to fit me. And if I was, for example, I was very fat or I was very thin, I would still need to modify the pattern to fit me the same way. Sometimes it's even easier to modify something to just be bigger than do the modification that I have to do, like knit a back that is wider and longer and add more shaping for the trapezius and all of that. It's super difficult to do, so my body is never included in the designs I knit from other people, so I always have to modify them. So I don't have the possibility to choose to knit only patterns that would fit me, because that's like 0.01% of all the patterns out there, so I cannot choose like that. You get what I mean? So even if a pattern is not size inclusive in just the size range side of things, if it's easy to modify like this guy is, I will still knit it. If I just had a bigger bust than the size range of this design, I would modify it just the same, if not simpler than what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's why I'm knitting something not size inclusive, even though I always design size inclusive patterns and promote size inclusivity. If you want to modify this to be bigger, you just need to knit the straps a little bit longer. You can add a little bit more shaping to the front neck. You just follow the instructions and just add one more repeat. You cast on a little bit more stitches here, same on the back, and you do a little bit more armhole shaping, exactly the same. You just add more repeats of the increases and cast on more stitches at the underarms. That's all. For me, what I'm gonna do, I need the back to be bigger than the front, so I'm gonna need the front size 1 and the back size 2. It's gonna work for the pickup, the number of pickup stitches are the same, so that's okay. And I'm gonna lengthen the back. But if I want the shaping at the underarms to still look nice, I will have to lengthen the back. Not just adding straight section at the top, I need to do a different increase rate for the bottom. But if I want it to go nicely with the front, I cannot go completely off the pattern, so yeah, I'm gonna have to see what I do. But yeah, I need to alter the back pretty heavily, and we will see. I will just finish this and see how I feel about doing the modifications. Okay, battery change. Beautiful. Oh. You just lie down on what I wanted to grab. Okay. The next part. Sorry. I'm just gonna open the bag because it's crinkly. The next section is acquisitions, and I have received yarn from a pre-order, as I mentioned. It's Woolberry Fiber Co. in the colorway Frost. And it's my dream. Can you tell? I'm in my purple era, I think. This is a gorgeous, like, lilac, frosted lilac color. I don't know, it's gorgeous. And I have bought this. I have so many skins of this color. I already had one skin of Rambouillet worsted, which is this is Rambouillet DK. It's beautiful. I have the worsted weight and I have knitted up already into a cowl, which is here. I'm gonna talk about it later. And I have 4 skins of the Superwash Merino base. I want to knit a dress with it, and I needed more. This has never happened to me ever before. This is a new base. They started with Rambouillet worsted and they just had this new base come out in December last month. No, 2 months ago, December 2024. And I liked this one so much. This is like incredible. You know, merino is bouncy, it's soft, it's springy, it's warm, it has a lot of memory. This is merino, but everything I mentioned is better. It's more springy, it's more squishy, it's warmer, it's softer, it's just merino, but better. It's absolutely incredible. I have no words. I have never touched anything like this, and it's so soft. This is definitely next to Skin Soft again, because I wear it. I can show you how I wear it. If it's really cold, I will put it up like that. around my face. And if it's okay cold, I will fold it like this and have it under my chin. This is, by the way, it's my own design. This is the Harmony cowl. I really like it. I wear this all the time. Every time I'm going out and it's cold, I just throw this on. This is my go-to. I like it because it's small, it doesn't take a lot of room, and if I want to close my jacket to the top, I can, because this is not too bulky. I have other cowls and shawls that are bigger, but then I cannot close my coat anymore, so this is just the go-to. And yeah. So I have this guy. It's always close to my face, and it's so soft. I swear, every time I'm wearing it, I'm like this. I'm just rubbing my face against it because it's too soft. I think it's disgusting in there because yeah. Anyway, so when they put out the DK version of the same yarn, the Rambouillet, I was like, I need it. And I bought the same color because that way I can make myself a hat, and I'm gonna have a matching set. It's gonna be awesome. I don't think I'm gonna do the cable motif on this one, on the hat, because I don't want to. I think I'm just gonna do muscle bro, so a stockinette hat. But DK skin is not enough to do the whole muscle bro, you know. So maybe I will use the leftovers from this. It's not really going together, but it's gonna be at the inside of the hat, so I don't care. Or I don't, if I find something else. Or maybe I'll just do like a triple brim hat, and I don't do the whole until the top. I don't know, I will have to see. But yeah, I have bought this one for that, and I also bought 2 skins of the fingering weight merino, because this is the other base that's soft enough, the other non-superwash wool base that's soft enough to be next to skin for me. And I just love this color so much. When I bought the 4 skins of superwash, I regretted not getting the non-superwash as well. I was scared that this would be a little bit too purple and not blue enough, because the non-superwash base takes the dye slightly differently, and in the picture you could see it was slightly more purple, and I preferred the blue leaning version of the superwash. So that's why I bought only 1 skin of non-superwash and 4 skins of the superwash. But by the way, I bought the 4 skins of this in superwash originally to do this design. So that was a year ago. Because my first idea was to do this in 1 color, and when I bought the 4 skins of superwash to do this, I suddenly realized, wait, I can do it in 2 colors and it's gonna be beautiful. So then the 4 skins arrived and I was like, I don't know what to do with them. But then I had the idea to do a dress, so it's okay, I'm fine. But yeah, when this non-superwash color arrived, I liked the color. It wasn't too purple for me, it was blue enough. So I bought 2 more skins of non-superwash, so that I could make myself a top, close-fitting camisole, again. In the same vibe of the camisole number 9, but another design. I don't know which one yet. I'm so excited. And it's funny because this, it's a solid color, so this one doesn't have a lot of variegation, if not any. It's just a flat color. You can barely tell. There is a little bit of tonality, but it's very subtle. You cannot really, I mean, it's not a big selling point of this color. It's very flat, which I like. But those skins have a lot more variegation. Maybe I can find one. Yeah, here. There is a lot more of this. I love it. I'm super happy about it. But yeah, there is a more variegation. There is 1 year between those skins and the first one, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, just to note that. Look at that. Oh my goodness, this is so good. I'm so excited to knit this up. I can't wait. Okay, so that was my acquisitions. Regarding acquisitions, I wanted to mention something that I noticed. Because when I went to do the totals of what I had used for the melon, usually what I do is when I receive yarn, so those guys, I weigh the skeins because they are never 100 grams. For example, Woolberry, they are usually closer from 110 grams. And for some other yarns, for example, the Candide I'm using for this, it's usually less than 50 grams. So I always weigh all my yarn in, and then I put everything in an app. I use the Knit and Note app, And when I finish a project, I weigh the yarn I have left and I subtract from the total and I know how much I have used. Because, for example, here I'm using 2 colors, so if I just weigh the sweater, I don't know how much of which color I have used. So that's how I do usually. But when I finished the sweater and I went into my Knit and Node app to see what was the total of yarn I used before I started, I was like, wait, I forgot to put the yarn in. I haven't counted this in my stash. So it means I have forgotten all 8 skeins of Explorer knits I received back in December. I think it was even November. I forgot to weigh them, all of them. So that was very difficult to do the totals of these. Fortunately, I had weighed the skeins for another reason. I had weighed them and I had noted that on a little paper that was super difficult to find, but I have found it. So the totals of these are very accurate, don't worry. But yeah, they weren't in the app. Which means when I did the totals of my yarn usage for 2024, I was missing 800 grams. Which means my goals were absolutely not met. Because I wanted to be under 10 kilos of yarn in stash, and I was like, I was at exactly 10 kilos, maybe 10 and 100 grams or something like that. And for me it was good enough. But actually no, I was more at 11 kilos. So that was fun to learn. I don't really care because I have managed to put myself in a mood where I don't want to buy yarn, because every time I consider some, like I see a beautiful yarn for pre-order in a, like Explorer Knits or Woolberry or whatever, I consider it and then I'm like, I have this, I have this, I have this much I want to knit, I'm so excited about, and I'm just like burning to cast it on. It's completely useless to add more stress and neediness to cast on stuff in my life when I have so many beautiful things. And it's not even, I'm not even forcing myself to think like that, it's just, I really don't want to. So I'm in this very harmonious position where I don't want to buy yarn. I mean, I want to, but I don't want it enough to actually do it. So I think it's gonna be fine. For stash this year, I'm feeling fine toward my goal. Maybe those are famous last words and I'm gonna go wild next month and buy everything. But I don't think so. I'm just so excited by the yarn I have and what I want to cast on. I just don't feel the need to get more. So we should still be good for 2025 goals, which was to use up 3 kilos, I mean net negative 3 kilos of yarn in my stash to get under 7 kilos in my stash. I think we should be good. The last thing I wanted to mention has absolutely nothing to do with everything I mentioned today. It concerns the skitter skirt pattern, which is the first design I published last year in October. It's a beautiful skirt, I really love it. And knitted skirts are not really, I mean last year they weren't really a thing. I mean there were patterns of knitted skirts and they existed and they were getting put out, but it wasn't really like a trend. But it's slowly starting to become a trend and I'm so happy about it. And I was contacted by the none other than the president of the Knitting Guild Association, the TKGA that you see at the bottom of Roxanne Richardson's video, for example. And she contacted me on Ravelry because she was writing up an article in the Cast On magazine, which is the magazine of the Knitting Guild. And she wanted to know if she could use the pictures of the skitter skirt in her article about skirts. And I was like, yes, of course. So I sent her some pictures and she sent me the article when it was published at the beginning of the month. And it's great. If you need an account on the Knitting Guild website if you want to read the article, but just make yourself an account. There is a ton of interesting articles and resources and there's a ton of stuff on this website, so make yourself an account there if you want to read the article. It's a pretty simple one. It's just basically listing all the different types of skirts you can make, so pencil skirts, A-line, skater style, all of that, and it's explaining all the differences and the pros and cons and everything, and it's just a great breakdown of all the possibilities regarding knitted skirts, and it's great. There is a lot of examples. And yeah, if you've ever been wondering if knitted skirts are for you, or if you don't really understand what's up with that, I recommend you go and read this article. It was very interesting and also quite short. It's not something that will take you 30 minutes to read. It's short, concise, and useful. So yeah, that was fun. And just like that, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. I didn't manage to make a shorter episode. It's okay. So I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed filming it. I'm gonna show you the cat. He's too cute. Hello. Oh yes. Oh, you want the belly rub? Oh, so cute. Oh, the baby boy. Stacy, I'm gonna miss you tomorrow. Okay, enough with the cat. So, as I just said to the cat, he's watching me with big eyes. I'm leaving this place tomorrow. I'm going home, and I'm actually happy to go home. I'm kind of over being here. I mean, it's a beautiful place, of course, but I just want to go home. And I discovered something very funny. Cats are like little babies. They always want your attention, and if they want your attention, they're gonna get it. And yeah, I'm at the point now where everywhere I go, I have a little cat following me. And if I sit at my desk and try to start work, there is one that jumps on my lap, and one of the girls is like so clingy, and she will just climb on my shoulders and just rest herself like that, and she waits for me to pick up her butt and hold her like this, because she just wants to be super close to my neck for some reason. So I'm like this, holding her with one hand and then trying to work with the other hand. It's complicated, and yeah, just everywhere I go, everywhere I sit, I have a cat that comes, and it's super cute. I love it, but I cannot get anything done. This took so much longer than I wanted because I had to pet the cat all the time. So yeah, I love them. I'm super happy I did this, the cat sitting. Actually, it's funny, someone commented that it was the best job in the world, which is true. I'm literally, I'm not getting paid a lot, it's just a symbolic, I was given a very symbolic amount of money. But I'm basically in a beautiful apartment with beautiful cats, with a beautiful view, and I'm here to knit. I don't have a job, and I'm unemployed. And I was like, yeah, this is actually the best job in the world. But yeah, every good thing has an end, so the end is coming tomorrow. And we have a fun saying in French. It's one of my favorite sayings. It says, toute bonne chose a une fin sauf le saucisson qui en a deux, which basically translates to every good thing has an end except sausages that have two. I just love it. Okay, so thank you for being here, thank you for listening to my rambles until the end, and I will now go and pet some cats. And I hope I will see you again next time. Bye.